Is there any physical evidence? You know, sometimes I've seen reports that maybe Jesus's face is showing up on a cloth.
Oh, the Shroud of Turin.
Well, the Shroud of Turin is a very fascinating topic.
I've been
new research into it.
Yes, John Campbell, Dr. John Campbell.
There's some really powerful new analysis of the Shroud that indicates it may very well be the burial cloth of Jesus.
Some of the evidence now, like when they studied it, they still cannot figure out what put
mechanism,
because the image is it's a negative. It's a negative on the cloth, but they do not know what the mechanism is that burned the image on there. Now they've done even AI 3-dimensional reconstruction because the data in the cloth is 3-dimensional.
Horrible way to die. They exempted Roman citizens from crucifixion. You couldn't crucify a Roman citizen because it's too awful.
See, this might go into some of the legal stuff that I was talking about earlier, the legalities of the spiritual realm. I mean, why did he have to come and go through that to save us?
What he didn't make Abraham do. That's what people are like, how could God be so cruel? He wasn't.
Right.
He showed what he would do out of love for us.
When they broke the covenant.
But the real covenant that God was making through Jesus is an unconditional one.
Unequivocally, that the evidence for the resurrection of Jesus Christ is so overwhelming that it compels acceptance by proof, which leaves absolutely no room for doubt.
So the Passover was when, God had basically warned Pharaoh again and again, 10 times, let my people go. He kept upping the ante, like, look, I'm serious, I'm God, you're not God, obey me. Let them go. And he wouldn't. And the final one was the firstborn will die. Unless you take the blood of a lamb and paint your doorpost with it. And then he said, and if that's the case, the angel of death will pass over your house. That was Passover, the first Passover. They celebrated Passover and this sacrificial system where every year they had to come to Jerusalem, and for 1,500 years until that Friday of Passover, which was when Jesus was crucified.
Every once in a while, I'll bring on a psychic on this podcast, or a remote viewer. I think it's a fascinating subject. I get destroyed. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
God warned them that don't try to contact the dead because, in fact, you're probably communicating with the demonic.
Yeah.
I've interviewed a handful of them, and one of them was Angela Ford, and she had done a lot of work for the government. I asked her in the interview, I said, have you ever remote viewed?
Oh, she's a psychic.
Yeah. And she did not want to answer that. Have you tried to look into the crucifixion? You have? Do you not want to talk about that? What does it say about that?
I think it's dangerous because of how Satan may intervene in ways that people are unconscious of and lead people to conclusions that are not biblical.
Daniel is praying. They're in captivity in Babylon, the Jewish people. Daniel's praying, what's going to happen to us? And an angel, Gabriel, comes to him and says, I've come to tell you what's going to happen to the Jewish people. The angel goes on and says to Daniel, this is all in Daniel 9, he says, The Messiah will come and be killed, and then the ruler will come who will destroy the city and the temple. Okay, so the city of Jerusalem and the temple. 70 AD, the Roman general Titus wipes out the city, destroys a temple, and the angel says the Messiah will be killed before that happens. So this is real history.
So if Jesus isn't the Messiah, there will never be a Messiah.
All of us like sheep have wandered off. We've gone astray. But God laid on him the sins of us all.